Hey, everybody. So, we are going to get into Leviticus 25, the Jubilee laws. So, if you have your Bibles, get them out and we shall begin. And I'm going from the Orthodox Study Bible. So, here we go. So, verses 1 through 7. Now, this is the seventh year. Now, the Lord spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, When you come into the land I give you, then the land will keep a Sabbath to the Lord. 6 years you'll sow your field, and 6 years you'll prune your vineyard and gather its fruit. But in the seventh year there will be a Sabbath year rest for the land, a Sabbath to the Lord. You will neither sow your field nor prune your vineyard. What grows by itself in your field you will not reap, nor gather the grapes of the vines you dedicated. For it's a year of rest to the land. So the products of the land during the Sabbath year shall be food for you. For you, your male and female servants, your slaves, your hired man, and the alien who dwells with you, and for your cattle and the wild animals in your land. All its produce shall be for food. So this land is to be left to rest in the seventh year. Crops aren't to be grown or cultivated, a Jubilee year. So, in addition to a Sabbath day, there is a Sabbath year. And this information comes straight from Mount Sinai, and it's an elaboration on what is shown in Exodus. All right, so now we get to the year of remission, the Jubilee, verses 8 through 17. You will also count 7 years of rest for yourself, 7 times 7 years, and the time of the 7 weeks of years shall be to you 49 years. Then you'll sound the trumpet throughout your land on the 10th day of the 7th month, on the day of the atonement. You will make the trumpet sound throughout all your land. Then you'll sanctify the 50th year and proclaim remission throughout the land to all its inhabitants. It'll signal the year of remission for you, and each of you will return to his possession, and each of you will return to his homeland. That 50th year shall be the signal of remission for you. In it you will neither sow nor reap what grows by itself, nor gather its sanctified things. For it's the signal of remission, it'll be holy to you. You will eat its produce from the field. In this year of remission, each will return to his possession. Also, if you should sell the land to your neighbor or buy it from him, let a man not oppress his neighbor. According to the number of years after the signal, you will buy land tenure from your neighbor, and he'll sell tenure to you according to the number of years of crops. According to the increase in years, his acquisition price for tenure should be increased, and according to the smaller number of years, his price should be diminished, for he sells to you according to the number of the crops. Therefore, let not a man oppress his neighbor, but you will fear the Lord your God, for I am the Lord your God. So, here's the thing. So, Israel never actually follows this. God gives them this law, and they never really follow this. This requires maybe some did individually. Some of the saints of the Old Testament, but overall they did not. So this also obviously requires a lot of trust, and they never had it. Jeremiah says so. They had to be in exile for 70 years when this happened, because they went for 490 years without ever following this. Every 49 years, there would be a 50th year, a Jubilee, where they were to spend a whole year. So collectively, Israel's tribes are going to get their own lands, all 12. And in the 50th year, in the Jubilee, whatever land agreement that they made with each other is going to be rendered void, and debts are going to be canceled. This is because it is God's land and not Israel's ultimately. So if followed, there would not be any generational poverty with the reset. So a whole generation of slaves could have been freed as well. Israel failed at this, and even in Jesus' day, they were failing. By the time this happens, the Sadducees and the high priest owned 70% of the lands and exploited the people. So they never followed this. They were so bad about this. So verses 18 through 22, food for the seventh year. So you will do all my ordinances and keep my judgments and do them. Then you'll dwell in the land in confidence. Then the land will yield its produce, and you'll eat your fill and dwell there in confidence. But if you should say, What will we eat in the seventh year, since we won't sow nor gather in our produce? I'll command my blessing on you in the 6th year, and it'll bring forth produce enough for 3 years. And you will sow in the 8th year and eat from the old produce until the 9th year. Until its produce comes in, you will eat of the old harvest. So in confidence, it says in confidence. Why does it say that? Because trust in God. He's promising them that they will have enough and care for them. And they never are able to do this because they just cannot trust that he will do this for them, that he will provide for them. So, anyways, kind of a problem. You'll see that's a problem for them. Later we'll get to that. But so yeah, they never do follow through with this. So verses 23 through 34, redemption of property. So the land won't be sold in perpetuity, for the land is mine. For in my sight are resident aliens and sojourners. According to all the land of your possessions, you'll grant a ransom of the land. If your brother with you becomes poor and has sold some of his possessions, and his closest relative comes, then he may redeem what his brother sold. Or if the poor man has no close relatives to redeem it, but he himself becomes prosperous enough to redeem it, then let him compute the years since its sales and return the remainder to the man to whom he sold it, that he may return to his possession. But if he doesn't become prosperous enough to return it to himself, then what was sold shall remain in the hand of him who brought it until the year of remission. And in the remission, it will be released, and he will return to his possession. If a man sells a house in a walled city, then he may redeem it within a year after it's sold. Within a full year, he may redeem it. But if it isn't redeemed within the space of a full year, then the house in the walled city shall belong legally to him who bought it throughout his generations. It will not be released in the remission. However, the houses of unwalled villages shall be counted as belonging to the open country. They may be redeemed and released at any time during the remission. Nevertheless, the cities of the Levites and the houses in the city of their possession, the Levites may redeem at any time. Even whoever purchases a house from the Levites, the house that was sold in the city of their possession shall be released in the remission. For the houses and the cities of the Levites are their possession among the children of Israel. But the fields set apart for their cities may not be sold, for this is their perpetual possession. So the land is God's. You're my people, but you're aliens here, is what he's telling them. And verses 25, this is not a jubilee here. Anytime this may be done. You can redeem, you can do this redemption at any time. You can release your debts at any time. So he's kind of saying, like, that's what you should do, right? Verse 32 through 34, the Levites aren't really getting land here. They're getting to stay in the spot that is theirs, right? Because they don't have any way, they're not supposed to do selling or anything like that. So anyways, let's see, keep going here. Whoops. Okay. Lending to the poor, verses 35 to 38. If your brother becomes poor and weak in strength among you, you will help him, like a resident alien or a sojourner, that he may live with you. Take no usury or interest from him, but fear your God, for I am the Lord, that your brother may live with you. You won't lend him your money for usury, nor lend him your food as a profit. I am the Lord your God, who brings you out of the land of Egypt to give you the land of Canaan to be your God. So here we have usury again is a sin, and interest and loans are a sin. Loaning any amount and charging interest is a sin. So this should be how we view it today too. This is still a sin in Christianity. We should all keep this in mind, given our entire society is based on usury. Our entire society by nature is exploiting someone who may need help. We should keep that in mind because it's pretty bad. It is a very bad sin. Yeah. So relating to Israelite slaves, verses 39 through 46. Now, if your brother with you becomes poor and sells himself to you, you will not compel him to serve as a slave, but as a hired servant or a sojourner, he'll be with you and shall work for you until the year of remission. Then in the remission, he'll depart from you, he and his children with him, and return to his own family. He'll return to the possession of his fathers, for they're my personal servants, my personal slaves, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt. They will not be sold with the sale of a household slave. You will not overwork him with labor, but you will fear the Lord your God. As for the male and female slaves you may have from the Gentiles around you, from them you may buy male and female slaves. Moreover, you may buy some of the children of sojourners dwelling among you, and some of their families with you, which they beget in your land, and they'll become your possession. You may also distribute them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them as a permanent possession. But regarding your brothers, the children of Israel, you will not overwork them with labor. So This is a controversial part, probably to some people, but Israelite slaves are in context here. The Bible here is not okay with slavery. You do not get to treat the Israelite here like a slave. You treat him as a hired worker. That's what it says here. You must free him on the Jubilee. He and his children must be freed, and his children aren't to be enslaved either here for generations, right? So that's the law and the rule here. So now we're going to get to the more controversial part relating to Gentile slaves. So verses 47 through 55 here. Now, if a, hold on. There we go. Now, if a resident alien or sojourner with you prospers and your brother becomes poor and sells himself to the resident alien or sojourner with you, or to a member of the resident alien's family after he's sold, may be redeemed again. One of his brothers may redeem him, or his uncle's son may redeem him, or anyone near of kin to him and his family may redeem him, or if he's able, he may redeem himself. Thus he'll compute the years with him who bought him. The price of his release shall be according to the number of years from the year that he was sold to him until the year of remission. It'll be according to the time he was a hired servant for him. If there are still more years remaining for someone, he'll pay his ransom for the money from the money of his sale. Now, if there remain but a few years until the year of remission, he'll compute with him, and according to his years, he'll repay his ransom. He'll be with him as a hired servant year by year, and you will not allow someone to overwork him with labor in your sight. But if he isn't redeemed in these years, he will be released in the year of remission, he and his children with him. For the children of Israel are personal servants to me. They're my slaves whom I bought out of the land of Egypt, for I am your God. So this section involves the Gentiles becoming a slave to an Israelite or a servant. So the Gentile here, you'll notice, initiates this to become someone's slave or indentured servant. So a contract with terms is crafted, and God tolerates this and allows it. This does not mean that God is okay with it. It means he tolerates it. You are allowed this arrangement under specific terms. So that slave can also eventually become an Israelite also, and that the Jubilee must then be followed also. So you can redeem an Israelite who became a slave to a non-Israelite, is what it is also saying here. So notice too, God calls Israel his slaves and servants. So God's not endorsing slavery so much here as people want to claim. And as I said before, that Gentile, he can become an Israelite, and if he becomes an Israelite, guess what happens? He gets put into part of the Jubilee. So, anyways, that is all of Leviticus 25, and the next one we're going to do is chapter 26 next time. But anyways, so if you enjoyed this podcast, hit like and subscribe. You're helping me out by promoting the channel. Share it if you want to. Thank you. God bless. I will see y'all next time, and we will get into chapter 26. So thank you.